I'm Yamino, the artist of Sister Claire, and I'm joined tonight by...
The one, the only, the incredible, the indelible Ash Barnes. I write the missing moments and I help Eleanor write the comic. How's everybody doing tonight?
Today will be, well, tonight. Almost today, because in about half an hour it's about to be tomorrow. We're going to be working on a November wallpaper, which is a tiny bit delayed. Just 2 days, but that's okay. It's been a really hard month. Okay, yeah. Give us a break. It's been like the worst month in history.
Yeah. November 2016, the month that sucked.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. Grant is moving tomorrow. Are you staying in North Carolina, Grant? I hope it was okay to reveal that you live in North Carolina.
Maybe not for long.
Oh no, Steffi is sick.
No.
I hope you feel better.
Well, I had kind of hoped for this to be a closer-up picture, but for me to show Momo, I can't really... I should look up a picture of Paula Deen for, like, a pose reference.
Oh, God. Be prepared for, like, a frozen face.
The creepiest smile in every picture. Oh, my God. Oh, no. You know what? Forget it. I'm not basing anything about Mama on Paula Deen. Not even her pose. Paula Deen's horrible.
Oh, God, she frightens me.
I know. She's scary. Her face is like frozen in one expression permanently.
Mm-hmm. You tried to make a joke about Paula Deen literally yesterday, and it flew over my head so high that it may as well have been an albatross.
What was it? It was...
something about butter spray.
Oh, yeah. It was... I said, that's what Paula Deen uses for room spray. And it was this thing called butter spray that you're supposed to...
Or butter mist.
Butter mist, yeah, that's right. I just imagine her using it as, like, you know, deodorant, like, just spraying it everywhere in her house. Because she loves butter. Even this is too close up. So who's seen Moana already? Is anybody answering Ash? I can't actually see the chat.
Most people haven't seen it.
Okay, we won't talk about spoilers then. No spoilers allowed.
Yeah, people were like, please, no spoilers.
I won't spoil. I'll just say that it's really, really good and it's worth the hype and you should definitely see it as soon as you can. Yeah. Ash and I have already seen it twice and I'm going to see it at least one more time, maybe two. Mm-hmm. And I want to buy
it. And I can't tell you how many times we've listened to the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. It's been on repeat since we've seen the movie the first time. I think the visuals definitely make it have more impact, though. I think if I had heard the music without the accompanying visuals and story, it wouldn't have struck me quite as much. But I really love it. I love how pretty it is. I love Moana herself. Is a really great character. It's kind of weird to hear Lin-Manuel Miranda singing in it, though, because if you're like us and you've listened to the Hamilton soundtrack a million times, it's kind of impossible not to hear him as Alexander Hamilton singing in this movie about Polynesian people.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems a little out of place, but he's really good.
Space Budgie says, those gingerbread cookies in that ref kind of look like a cartoon penis, but with arms. As well they do.
Yeah, I had kind of thought that, but...
You can do better, Ellen.
Or I was going to say my mom would actually make, like, cartoon penis gingerbread people, but...
Of course she would. In all different shades with, like, icing and...
Oscar would try to fix them by giving them arms, and my mom would come back and be like, no, my penis people!
Mama!
Oscar's like, we can't give these to Genevieve if you make them all dicks. Like, come on.
I was supposed to take these to lunch with Queen Sylvia. And Mama was like, oh, even better.
I will blame it on you.
Give her this one, it's the biggest one. That sounds exactly like something she would do.
Glitch is driving me up the wall. It makes it really hard to click on things.
Oh, Lonely Eggplant asks, is anyone going to see Spirited Away? Because it's being re-released in theaters.
Oh.
I'd be interested in seeing it.
Me too. That's my favorite Ghibli movie.
It's not my favorite one, but I really like it a lot.
Hey, Oscar's taller than Momo, right?
Uh-huh. Yep. Not by much, but yes.
I'm gonna have Gabby stealing her cookie.
Oh, Sean just recommended a movie I hadn't heard of. Children Who Chase Lost Voices is a good one. Not Ghibli, but it's done by a studio who could be a Ghibli contender. Really?
Well.
I'm always about, like, new animated movies, or be it old ones, perhaps. Oh, it's from 2012. Or 2011. Yeah. Hoshiwa o Kodomo. Sean said, Ash, Elena, Grimm should also be trying to go for a cookie. I don't know that Grimm is there.
I mean, it depends how old they are.
Well, if Oscar is old enough to be taller than Mummel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then again, she was taller than Mummel when she was 15. So.
No, she's older than 15 in this picture for sure.
Okay, well then.
I actually don't. Is that canon? Because that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it is. It's mentioned in A Missing Moment.
But Momo is really tall.
She is. Oscar isn't. I mean, keep in mind that Mummel is tall, but also wide. Oscar is tall and like approximately a fifth of Mummel.
I know, but at 15, I don't think she would have been taller than her.
I thought it.
15-year-olds don't get that tall.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
But I mean, Mummel is like over 6 feet tall.
I think she's right at 6.
Well, Oscar is like 6'1", so.
Okay. Well, now I'm gonna go look. I thought I had mentioned it. Let me see.
Oscar was wearing platform shoes that day. Case closed.
It could also be that Mummel just went around in heels all the time.
Yeah, that's true too.
Let's be real. Who would be the one more likely to be wearing heels at that time?
I don't know. French clothing.
Let's see, because Oscar was pretty tall. Here it is. Let me see. Okay, she's not quite as tall as Mummel in the tournament missing moment where her age is stated to be 15. Nearly tall enough to look her in the eye. Okay, so she still had some growing to do. Proxy asked, Ash, I don't recall if you mentioned this. Did you ever get to see Song of the Sea? You know, Elena watched it on a plane, and I was busy. Instead of watching that, you see, just a little bit of info about me. Whenever I fly, I tend to lose my hearing. And I tend, therefore, to rely on the subtitles on movies. And I couldn't get the subtitles for Song of the Sea to work. And I heard it was also like a musical movie, so I kind of wanted to not watch it without being able to hear. Did that make any grammatical sense? I didn't want to watch it unless I could hear the music. That's much more clear. So instead, I decided to watch the Hobbit movies, which I had not seen yet, and try to reconcile the very hot, studly versions of the characters with the images that my brain had conjured from reading Lord of the Rings fanfiction. It was fun.
I know what kind of fanfic you're reading.
Well, there's not really a lot to choose from.
Wait, you mean in the fics you read, they were not studly stud muffin dwarves? This shocks me. Maybe I should have her trying to, like, keep the tray away from them.
So, all that to say, no, I have not yet seen Song of the Sea. But I have seen Thorin Oakenshield in not very good quality on an airplane television. Sephi said, I like how they made the doomed dwarves the most traditionally pretty. Right? God. They tried to shoehorn in a heterosexual romance just 'cause. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I did think the dwarves had a very interesting design. I appreciate how it was easy to tell them all apart, whereas in the book it gets a little bit
Sausage festy?
No,
well, all the same names.
I mean, it's sausage festy in the movie too, but in the book it's kind of hard to discern who's who because that man would describe every little indentation on a napkin given the chance. But I guess it's easier with a visual story. Smoosh Smoosh asks, Studley Hobbitmen aside, are you taking comic questions tonight? Absolutely, and always
As always.
Yeah, hit us up.
Rosie got itchy.
Mm-hmm. One last word on JRRT and him being very descriptive, because Sean's like, yeah, he was a very descriptive person. If, like, okay, I am really, really, really into descriptive writing. That is like my jam. And even I find it a bit too much to try to read so many of his books. It's just, there comes a point when the description becomes more weight than anything else.
That's why I never liked his books. I could never read more than a couple pages because my eyes would just glaze over.
Well, you're not a big reader of fiction in the first place.
I used to be, but I feel like I've become less and less patient over time. But I tried reading The Hobbit when I actually did enjoy reading a lot more. And it was too much.
Let's see. Zach asked, is Mother Abraham the shard Abigail that Yolanda raised? If you're asking if Mother Abraham is the same person that Yolanda raised, the answer is yes. I guess it depends on, like, what your version of the same person is. Like, I mean, people change over time, of course. You know, I'm not the same person now that I was when I was 15 years old. I like to think I have improved, like a fine wine. However, you know, no one has body swapped me. I am, in fact, occupying the same mortal form. Oh, here's a question more for you, Elena, I think. Who would wear that fancy Lancome rose powder in Sister Clairland?
Oscar. And the twins and her dad.
Of course. Sylvia would be like,
stop stealing my makeup, Michael. Michelle.
Michelle.
She calls him Michael to piss him off. Michael, damn it.
Oh, this is such a good picture, Riggy. Wow.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I'm so delighted.
It's so good. I love the horns. I mean, like the thorny horns.
I do too. I'm so flattered someone illustrated something from the missing moments. I won't cry. Maybe just a little bit.
Hey, let's hire them to do more illustrations for the missing moments. I'm just crying. Don't cry.
It's so beautiful.
It's so
beautiful. I'm okay.
I'm the one who's supposed to be crying because I've still got stuff stuck in my eyes.
Aw, Proxy said that I'm a better writer than Tolkien. I appreciate it.
I agree. I can actually read your writing. You put girls in your stories. Big plus.
Pretty much only girls in my stories.
Also big plus.
I mean, but I would take a sliver of that man's incredible fortune, if you please. That'd be nice.
I wish somebody would make like super high budget movies of Sister Claire.
Oh yeah.
I think they would be good. I think they would be really good. Winkle, I know you agree. You are my number one fan.
Zach says, Ash, just read the comments we wrote out for you earlier. Zach, I read them and I can.
She's crying again. Don't cry.
It was so nice. It was really nice because, like, I opened up the Picarto window and it was like, whoosh, boom, have some positivity all up in here. It was really, really nice.
It is really nice. Winkle, I can't pet you, baby. I'm working. Mama's busy. But she's going to claw my ass until I pet her. Come on, Winkle. She literally just, like, lovingly put upon my thigh, stared into my eyes, and sank her nails into my leg. You will pet me. It's really cute when Winkle wants me to pet her sometimes, and I'm not obliging because I'm busy. She'll pet me. She'll put her paws on me, and she'll, like, pat, pat, pat. Like, did you forget? This is how you do it. You do it like this. Now you. Like,
Polina asks, here is a question for you, Ash. If you were forced to work with the original Space Baby idea, how would you try to redeem it? Darlin, initially...
We did try.
We did. I have even... I'm not sure if this is spoilery to say, but... Well, no, probably because we're never going to revisit this. Like, Elena did concept art of the baby, okay? Mm-hmm. Like, it was going to be a character, like, and I helped her with thoughts, and we talked about it. We had ideas for where the story would go. As much as I really did not want to send the story into space, Elena was married to that idea before she was married to me. And so she was all up on it. And I'm like, well, okay. And I wrote something quite a long time ago. Like, I was trying to get a grip on the characters and how they would act around this character, the baby. And there is, in fact, writing of Claire, Marie, the baby. I think Gabby's there. Did I put Gabby in it? Maybe not.
Maybe it was a mermaid, actually.
Well, it was the lionfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lionfish.
Who is a mermaid? So I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know my plan would have worked too.
Elena. Elena downs hot tea in a gulp. Jesus.
You do know what I was quoting, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
People are asking to see these things. I'm sure Elena still has the concept art for the space baby.
Somewhere. On another computer, maybe.
It probably is. She would really have to dig to find it, but don't like, don't fret. Eventually, you will see it. I wonder if I do still.
One day I'm gonna make a Sister Claire art book, and all of the like really terrible ideas are gonna be in there, so you can see just what could have been and be grateful for all the changes that we've made.
I'm sitting here trying to remember. I don't think I have that writing on this computer, which is sad.
Yeah, for both of us, it was a computer ago.
But there is a place where I may still have it. It might be on my work computer.
Anyway, it's okay. You're welcome.
Paulina Castle said, "Am I the only one who thinks the Space Baby actually sounded really cool?" I'll be honest, of all the things that Elena had planned,
of all of Elena's really dumb ideas, that was one of the least dumb.
That's
I'm just saying what everybody knows you want to say, but you're not going to say.
Of all of Elena's ideas about that, like, I really liked playing around with the character of Claire's baby, because it was a really interesting idea that it's something that has and will carry over more into the story as we progress from book 2 into book 3. Like, Claire was fully expecting to have a baby and does not have one now. And with the whole space baby thing, she gets an entity, and it is definitely an entity that does behave like, well, did, at least in theory, that did behave in some ways like a baby, like it needed a lot of help and care, and it learned things. But then it also had other capabilities, like, you know, turning into a ship. So
her baby was going to be a robot. So, like, she was going to basically lay an egg that then turned into, like, a robotic, like, it would kind of unfold into a robot baby. So it was kind of like a cute transformer, I guess. I had a lot of designs that were very kind of Apple product inspired.
Sean wants to know if the baby ever got a name. No. In
Claire Jr.
In the thing that I wrote where the baby existed and was a character, Claire passes the baby to Marie and says, "Here, hold the love." I remember that. I remember writing that line. What? Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm just laughing at what I had finished the sentence. I was like, "Here, take it." Ah! Here, I need to go scream into an abyss somewhere because my baby's apparently a robot. And, yeah, I'll be right back.
She was calling to help
the
lionfish.
God. I know, but I'm imagining, like, right afterwards, like, it's a robot. Hold it for a second.
Jesus.
She goes to the nearest puddle. What the hell?
No, Smoosh, not the loaf. The love. Elena, you jerk. God.
I'm so glad I didn't just spit water everywhere. Because what I imagine when people say the loaf, I think of like a cat, when they're in the loaf. And you know what? It had actually been a concept that Claire would have a baby that was cat-like because she loves cats. I had thought if Claire made the baby into something that she loved more than anything, it would have cat-like traits. And so one of my initial ideas had been either like a cat child or a robot that had cat-like features.
That, like, the whole cat child idea has been, like, kind of recycled.
With Grimm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that we've ended up using for Grimm had originally been concepts for Claire's baby. But when you said hold the loaf, I was imagining her handing this cat loaf to Marie and Marie being like, oh my god. It's like swaddled. Hold the loaf.
Jesus. Okay, I give up.
You know what? You named a kid in Claire Egg, so loaf could be a feasible name for Claire's child, okay?
I don't think it's a bad name. Now, okay, you know what? If Claire ever has a baby, she's naming it Loaf. It's canon. Thus it is writ. Everyone heard Loaf.
Hold the loaf.
Jamie said, it would look like a toaster.
Oh my god, her robot baby is literally the brave little toaster.
You know, though, the,
Master!
Let's not talk about that movie. It traumatized me as a child.
By the way, I just want everybody to know that I'm drawing this boob window because Ash asked me to.
I think it's going to be cute. You've already drawn her in a turtleneck, which is like one of my favorite kind of shirts. And
nothing's better than a turtleneck with a boob window.
You know what? Yeah. You can buy me one of those for Christmas.
All right, I will. I will. I'm going to find one in New York, and I will bring it back, and then you're going to wear it in Europe. With the boob window. What are you looking for? Are you guessing how it might look?
Well, I don't really, I just unzipped my coat and looked down at
your t-shirt.
At my t-shirt as though expecting to see cleavage. That's not how it works, Ash Barnes. Jesus, you're almost 30. You'd think you'd know how boobs work by now.
This is why you don't have a boob window. Can I tell you a secret, Ash?
Yes.
Nobody actually has cleavage like this without a special bra to make it happen. And you could make it happen. Let's go Victoria's Secret.
I don't want to go to Victoria's Secret.
They're really nice. I went to Victoria's Secret one time, and the lady who was helping me, her name is Daisy, she told me I have a lingerie booty. And that's like the nicest thing any salesperson has ever said to me.
Whoa.
Zeke.
Well, he was
because Aang was stepping on him.
He was getting sat on by Aang. Can you blame him for being a little frisky? Cephalopod Queen says, New York, you say? Yeah, well, you should tell people what's up next week.
Yeah, I need to figure out when would be like a good place to meet up. But Ash isn't gonna be able to make it. But we will be doing meetups in Europe for anyone here who is from Europe or there.
I don't know if people know that we're going to Europe.
We haven't actually officially announced it.
That's part of the Monday announcement, actually.
But so you heard it here first. We're going to be in Europe for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And we will be doing meetups in Brussels, Amsterdam, and Paris. And we would really like to see you there. But as for New York, I'm going there with Sarah for a couple days. And we're going to see if we have time to do at least one meetup. It feels kind of weird doing it without you, though, Ash.
Sorry.
That's why I haven't announced anything about it, because I was kind of waffling if I wanted to do one without you there. I don't really want to.
You should do it. It'll be fine. Just go to a bubble tea place like before.
Yeah.
Zach asks, are you going to Italy at all?
No, unfortunately not.
We're going to be in Belgium, Amsterdam, and Paris. But unfortunately, I can't go to New York next week because I have treatments at work. No.
Sorry for the nudity, you guys. But it's just sulky, gabby nudity. Nobody's complaining, right? Pants with fake back pockets.
What?
Oh, they're talking about pants. That, for girls. Yes, Lemon Sarah is the one who will be. I'm gonna tell her you called her Lemon Sarah.
She'll appreciate
I know.
that.
I don't mean it's a bad thing. She'll find it funny.
You should tell them about Sarah.
What about Sarah?
That she's coming back.
Oh, okay. I was like, I just said I'm going to be in New York with her. What else is there to say? Yeah, she's coming back from Singapore. So for those of you who have been following the saga, Sarah was our roommate, and she went to Singapore for a year to study abroad, and she's moving back. So it's going to be exciting. You'll probably see a lot more of her in live draws and stuff. Oh God, I drew this face awfully. Oh, that's the problem with like really zooming in. Everybody is out of proportion with each other.
Eggplant says that they drew the space baby. I want to see it. Oh, but people up here were talking about bras.
They were also talking about like women's pants and stuff.
Oh, do not even get me started on freaking women's pants. Jesus. Like, it's like, you may be a 12, you may be a 10, you may be an 18. Who knows? Not us.
Let's all just go back to wearing togas. It was an easier time.
I could do a really awesome high kick in a toga. Zach says, poor pockets on female pants are a push for the purse industry. I don't ever carry enough shit to, need more than my pockets.
You know what? I might need to start looking for some kind of purse or something because I just ruined my phone. It's not even like my nice phone, my actual phone was destroyed on a roller coaster in October. And since then I've been using Ash's old phone, and that fell in a toilet the other day. So because the pocket was too loose and I wasn't paying attention, and it's just a nightmare. So I had to buy a new phone. But the point I was trying to make is if women's pants came with better pockets, our stuff wouldn't be falling out of them all the time into the toilet. Oh my God. I love the baby. It's like a demon robot cat baby. Oh, I see. It's a cat tail and cat ears.
Everything is fine.
The baby should also be on fire.
Oh, so it's essentially Jack Jack from The Incredibles.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of the dog meme. This is fine.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Karen says that she has to pay $70 a bra.
Why?
Jeez.
Women's tax, man. It sucks.
Zach says, I take 3 hours to find a single pair of pants that fit both my thighs and butt. I have a hard time shopping for clothes in general. Shopping for blouses is always an adventure because I have football player shoulders and It's even better when they have shoulder pads sewn into them too, because then I look like a Disney villain. But like I don't really like wearing shirts that can fit my shoulders, then hang like a tent on the rest of me. Like they just sort of hang off my boobs straight down, and I look like a box, which is disconcerting. And trying to wear shirts that button up, it's fine until I get to the boobs, and then you have that one button that's like, I'm holding on for dear life, but it's not gonna last. Like, don't let go, Jack.
It gives you like two titty holes vertically. I don't even know why my shirt does this, but the one that I was wearing, am I still wearing it today? No, I'm not. But like, I was wearing a shirt like that when I went to get my phone put back together, hoping that it would work after they reassembled it. It didn't. But when I went there, I just threw on whatever I found handy, and it was my rainbowy plaid shirt. And for some reason, it has those like giant gaping holes in between every button, like it's been stretched way out. I don't know why. But I realized after I had been waiting there in line for like maybe 10 minutes that I had not put a bra on, and I was just like exposing everybody. Like, oh, I'll put my jacket back on. But God, why is clothing so difficult?
I could really go on and on ranting about clothes. It's one of those things that clothes shopping is the one thing that can make me feel like the most undeserving creature on the planet in like less than 5 minutes.
No. You are the most deserving creature on the planet.
But it is never a fun experience to go shopping for clothes. Zach says, can we all just agree that home is where the pants aren't?
Yeah.
That sounds like a wonderful philosophy, Zach.
Would everybody be like really mad if the wallpaper was just a sketch? That way I could do both tonight. Or should I just try to ink and color this? I can color.
I think if you don't have to do as fine a job coloring as you usually do, like as precise.
I keep having to like bite my tongue to stop from singing Moana songs. They've been stuck in my head for so long.
When I went to visit in DC several weeks ago, when I walked into his apartment, they were doing a routine like cleaning for bed bugs. Like they didn't find any in his place or anything, but they had made him remove everything from his closet. So there were just shirts everywhere. And Ryan somehow has this special talent of finding the best, bright, brilliant flannel shirts. And he had this like neon purple one.
I want.
With like yellow stripes and other things. It was gorgeous.
I love colorful flannel shirts.
I know, Elena. I can see the lust kindling in your eyes over there. But I was like, like I felt the breath leave my body at the side of the shirt. I was like, and he saw me look at it. And he was like, "Oh, try it on if you want." So I'm like ripping off my jacket, and
Ash is already like tearing the buttons off her shirt.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Give me!" And I put it on, and it was like way too big, but I liked it so much that I walked around the rest of the night with like the sleeves dangling way down past my hands and stuff. And at
I
one
bet
point,
that's a really cute look for you.
it was such a nice shirt, and he offered to let me have it, but I.
Why didn't you take it, Ash? Come on. Live a little. See the line of the sky meets the sea, calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. I go, I go.
Sean is reminding people about the horse titty blanket.
That was a good time.
It was a good time.
We should have bought that.
God.
You will never have an opportunity like that again.
I wish we had bought it specifically so I could layer it in the bottom of Rosie's crate now. So whenever she has explosive diarrhea, she
could spray all over the ugly horse. Hopefully she's not going to have that anymore. I think we fixed it. I think she was allergic to her food, and today we got her some new food, so fingers crossed, but all of her poop has been normal now, so yay. I tell you, it's a really fun time waking up in the morning and coming down and the entire downstairs smells like pure fetid diarrhea. Like, just, whew. It was so bad yesterday, Ash, that I smelled it before you opened the front door. That's why I was going, oh no, oh no. And you were like, what? What is it? And we opened the door and you still didn't smell it. But I was like, Ash, take a deep breath.
I didn't want to.
But it was so bad. I couldn't believe it. I smelled it through the door. I might just be like a super smeller. I seem to be extra sensitive to smells that don't seem to bother other people. Of course, dog poop bothers everybody, but... I'm going to show you guys some magic now. I'm going to design one gingerbread person. That glitch is kind of screwing with my lines right now.
Kilandra asks, Yamino, Ash, did you like the most recent Steven Universe episodes?
I did.
And Kilandra went on to say, I need more Jim flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. I really liked Pearl.
It wasn't my favorite episode, but I thought it was aight.
Rose is trapped inside this fleshy prison. Free her from the fleshy prison, the baby prison. Do you guys catch that? My cool trick for how I made this in perspective. I'll show you one more time. I'll do a couple more gingerbread people. Okay, so take a look at how I turned this. Oops, no. Ah, where's my layer? How I turned this gingerbread sketch into like a more 3D looking one. Okay, so first you draw your shape. It's okay if there's like white on it. I'm setting it to multiply anyway. And then you copy it. Oh, I copied the wrong thing. Okay, so I've copied it and then, no, why didn't it copy? Come on now. I'll just do this, okay. And then I'm gonna warp it to be in perspective, so I hit Command T. You can also do edit transform. And now I'm gonna just edit it to look a little like it's going back in perspective here.
I'll be right back.
Okay, dear. Okay, so now that I've warped it, I'm going to copy that and then just drag it a little bit down. Let's set this to multiply so you can see all the lines. Okay, and now I'm going to delete everywhere that you wouldn't see that bottom line here. And now a little fine tuning on the edges here. And voila! It's now three-dimensional looking with minimal effort. Yay! There should be more cookies, shouldn't there? I don't know if I can fit any more people on here. I'll do my best. I can maybe fit some star-shaped cookies or something. Oh, I moved everybody. Oops. Let's move you back down normal. Let's move the cookies down a little. Let's make a star-shaped cookie. So I'll draw the star just head on like this. I can't believe I'm trying to do this freehand. That's good enough, I guess. Okay, so here's my star shape. I will copy it so I still have this one saved if I need it. And now I'm gonna transform it. Maybe it could fit here. Copy that. Yay! A star cookie. I'll make another star. Maybe this one can be turned a little bit. Let me save a copy of this so I don't lose it. You okay?
Yes. Oh. I have returned.
I was just telling people about my way of drawing cookies in perspective easily.
Uh-huh. Looks nice. Kalandra liked the post on my Tumblr about animal folklore. I'm really glad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool.
Was that a post you made or one you reblogged?
Oh no, I reblogged it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, did you make a post about it?
Notice. I don't originate much content on Tumblr anymore.
It's a cute heart. Mess it up.
Space Budgie is asking if there is a Christmas in the Sister Claire world.
We had an equivalent. It's not like Christmas, but there is like a holiday festivity.
It's called the Midwinter Festival
Mm-hmm.
in Thermomade.
It also depends like which culture you're talking about. Like witches may have their own.
Yeah. Don't forget Gabby's whiskers.
Oh yeah, I always forget that. It makes me both happy and sad to draw young Catherine because she looks so young and happy.
Good night, Smoosh.
Good night. Should Catherine be looking at Mama or at the cookies?
At Mama.
Yeah, I think so too.
Aw, Kalandra has to go to bed too.
Aw, good night, Kalandra. Thanks for coming.
Yes. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh my god, I made her smile huge by accident.
Who, Catherine?
Mm-hmm. That's a smile you don't see on her much.
My video hasn't shown it yet. Aw. Baby pie. Jamie says, "Oh, Ash and Yamino, any plans to head to the west side next year? Seattle, perhaps? Vancouver, maybe? We would really love to get over there, Jamie. If a convention invites us, then we'll definitely come. Right now, we don't have any solid plans. We will be, like, our con schedule is going to be pretty limited for the next few months until we get book 2 in hand. Like, we're about to finish up book 2. We'll run the Kickstarter for it. I'm sure it will be successful. And when we have actual physical copies of book 2 in hand, then it will make more sense for us to start going to conventions again. Because really, we don't have a ton of merch and stuff to sell at cons. And it's one thing for us to go to local cons and things and sell some prints and some other small items and get to meet people, but to have to put in the expense of also, like, plane tickets and hotel stays, things like that, that we would have to if we went to cons that are farther away, well, yeah, we need to have more merch to sell before we do that. Aw, Ricky says that they ordered the Pedro tea.
Oh, I hope you like it.
I hope so too. Laura will be delighted.
Is Laura in the chat?
No, she went to bed. Oh. Catherine is so cute. I am dying.
I'm trying to figure out where her other hand must be. She could be holding Momo here, like on her.
Yeah. You didn't show Oscar's other hand either.
Well, Oscar's other hand is presumably here, like under Momo's hair.
Mm-hmm.
But Catherine can be holding her own.
Aw. The only child of Mumbles that is currently missing is
Clementine.
Clementine.
She's not. I don't think that Clementine ever considers her a mom, though. If anything, she's like a cool aunt, but she wasn't raised by her.
No, I mean, I think Mumble would be totally happy to, like, lay claim to Clementine.
She's like Magpie. She'll adopt anything that stands still.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think she would be totally happy to lay claim to Clementine, and I do think that in her mind, she thinks of Clementine as kind of this extension of Catherine, thus hers.
Mm-hmm.
But Clementine doesn't ever quite see her that way.
I don't think that Clementine would really like to be seen as an extension of Catherine.
No, definitely not. And
like, I think she would be flattered if Momo said something like that, but also like, I'm not Catherine.
mm-hmm. But Clementine does consider Oscar her sister.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like, I think she sees Momo as kind of not a parent, but like an aunt. Like, she sees her as family, but not like mom.
Yeah.
Whereas Catherine sees her like mom.
Yeah. If there's really only one person who might, well, that's not true. There are 2 people that Clementine might consider parental figures. And boy, would they fight for custody.
Mm-hmm.
I think instead of having Catherine's other hand on her hip, you might want to have her holding Mummel's arm with both hands. Because otherwise it looks like she's posing. Do you know what I mean?
I think that visually it's nicer to have more weight on that side of the page, but let me mess with her hair first.
Okay. She looks kind of stiff or posed right now.
Mm-hmm. I'll flip the picture and see what I can do.
Okay. Seffi got it. Seffi said, cough, cough. Abraham, magpie. Yeah. Like, I don't think Clementine would outright call either of them mom or anything. But I think that's the closest. Well, she does technically call Abraham Mother Abby.
Doesn't she also call Magpie mom, like when she's dizzy?
She's
or like sick at one point.
She's really sick and she's channeling Grimm. So it's not her saying it. She says ma'am, not like, yeah. She's echoing the pain that she hears. What essentially is Grimm. What later gets channeled into Grimm, I should say.
I love drawing Catherine with her long hair too.
Mm-hmm. I like her little braid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. In terms of Catherine's pose, Space Budgie says it works well with the Catherine is trying to distract Mummel so the others can get cookies.
That's what I was thinking is that
okay.
That Catherine is like getting her attention and Gabby and Oscar are like gonna steal the cookies and then like I think Mummel is trying to be like we're saving them for dinner or something. And Catherine's like, are you sure? What if we just have one? And she's like, no. And she's like, okay, fine, if you insist. And then when they walk away, she looks down and there's like 3 cookies missing. And she's like, oh! They're already like running away with cookies in their mouths.
I think this would be so cute, Elena, if you could extend the top of it a little bit and have the tops of their heads. You could make this into a Christmas card that we send out.
Mm-hmm.
We could have them printed at Staples tomorrow. That'd be so nice.
Except it's definitely like a horizontal picture.
Well, then make it a postcard.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah,
we could send it out to patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hey.
Or even, like, if we printed enough of them,
mm-hmm.
I could send them out from Brussels. I really love sending mail,
mm-hmm.
like Christmas mail.
I want to do something for the background then, like maybe some wreath or something.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some holiday wreath things going on here.
Oh, Zach asked a really good question that I missed until this exact moment. I'm so sorry, Zach. And just in general, everyone, if I seem to be ignoring a question that you've asked, chances are I'm not ignoring it, I just haven't seen it. So, ask it again, and I'll do my best to make sure I don't miss anybody. Zach asked, why were nuns in or around Eden when it fell? That is such a good question, darling, and dang, I just can't answer it without spoiling some shiz. I'll say this. I will say this. It wasn't just witches to whom Clementine appealed.
I would say largely witches.
Largely witches. But, I mean, think of the people to whom you have seen Clementine speaking most recently. Think who those people are. Think about that.
Now I have to think of a pattern for their sweaters.
Not necessarily. Don't make it too complicated.
The whole point is that it's ugly sweaters. Like, that was the whole...
I think this is just a cute enough picture that they don't have to be wearing ugly sweaters, too.
Well, they gotta be wearing... I don't want them all to be wearing a plain,
okay,
colored sweater.
Zach says people were flocking to Eden as an escape. As an escape and as something else. I mean, it's called Eden. You know, you don't go to Eden to escape. I mean, Eden is supposed to be like paradise, right? Oh, Rokriptal is asking if we liked the candies that he sent, and also could we read the I want to say this word for me.
Where?
Calaverita. Calaverita. I'm sorry, my Spanish is terrible. But yes, we could read it.
Calaverita. Yeah, I could. It was really a very sweet present.
I really liked the candy.
It was really cool to see actual sugar skulls, which I've heard much about and never actually held in my hand before.
We really appreciated it. It was so cool to open, and it was just candy everywhere. It was like, hey, that looks a little bit like my sweater. It has poinsettias on it.
It's a pretty popular motif for Christmas sweaters.
Rosie's over in her crate snoring.
Don't wake up the baby.
Don't wake the baby. I'm gonna miss her being gone next week. I wish that she could stay while it was just me here.
I mean, she could.
No, she really can't, because I have to go to work, and I'm gonna be gone for at least 8 hours at a stretch.
It really just makes me sad drawing cute young Catherine.
Aww.
She was so happy.
I love Mummel's face in this.
She's like, I see what you are trying to do. It is not going to work. Oh shit, it worked.
It worked so well. I have taught you too much. Oh, you listen to me. Don't forget Mummel's stubble, by the way.
I know. I don't draw it with the thing that's done with shading.
Space Budgie asks, how much is Patreon to get a postcard? That is $10. Founding father.
The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter by 14.
Good job, baby.
They put him in charge of a trading charter.
Wow. No images anywhere on the internet are loading for me.
Anywhere on the whole World Wide Web?
No.
I hate drawing folds. Everybody should just wear skin-tight clothes all the time.
Space Budgie asked, if I did that for just 1 month, would that include a postcard? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this month would be the one to do it because we will be sending postcards from Europe. And it will probably be this picture that I'm drawing right now.
This is a good question. Someone says, why did everyone in the Abbey not back up Catherine when she was accused of being a witch, if everyone in the Abbey knows that she's a witch? There's a difference between knowing that someone has magic and then someone who is like, okay, pretty much everyone in the Abbey has magic that they can use. Everyone was really like upset at Catherine because it seemed like she was using it in ways that were not sanctioned, essentially breaking her vows.
There are some kinds of magic, though, that whether somebody is shown to be using them or not are still considered like especially dangerous and taboo, like the twins, their mind powers. is what they have to keep it a secret that they have them because they're scared what could happen if people even knew they had it, whether they were using it or not.
Yeah. Zach said it really well. The word witch has strong negative connotations, while magic can be witch-like or just energia, used in unapproved ways, I guess. Exactly.
Even then, I think magic still has a negative connotation, though, because remember when Claire says it to the twins, she was like, that would be magic, and they're like, ow,
yeah.
no!
I think the twins are being...
We don't use the M word!
Yeah, they were being a little dramatic, but yeah, like, witches and magic in general, like, that, especially in the context of the Abbey, are not super duper accepted unless it is to save people or...
Even then, you can still get in trouble.
Yeah, you can still get in trouble. Like, it really does have to be kind of sanctioned. In cities, you'll see more of this, especially in upcoming missing moments with Thronum Mare, like the difference between witches and mages. Like, there are people in certain places in the Sister Clairverse who go about with their magic, wielding it pretty proudly because they have a license to do so. They have agreed to abide by certain laws and thus are allowed to practice magic in the open. Usually, though, this is what's called a civil magic, like magic that helps people or, like, growing food or purifying water, or it was mentioned in the most recent missing moment, actually, a very quick mention, and I'm a little, I guess not startled that people aren't talking about it, but I think later people will realize, oh, that was important. But Sabine mentions that her father was a quake mage, like people who help build walls, build cities. It's really hard in the Sister Claire world to do things like that without the assistance of magic, simply because you got giant deer spider monsters running around impeding your construction efforts.
Well, also using magic will draw those, so it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah. There's ways to keep magic from drawing those things. It's really, really involved.
It's not perfect, though.
No, it is not.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be sanctuary cities like Thronum Mare that are surrounded by water.
Yeah, and Thronum Mare is only able to exist because of pretty much constant warding, and it does have the barrier of the water that helps. But yeah, like, it's still a beacon for shards. That's why they have people like Oscar, like the Royal Guard, who do routine patrols of the walls and occasionally venture to the mainland to try to keep the city as safe as possible. Sean also says, magic has taken on a darker connotation after Eden's fall. That is certainly true, because it's not just Eden that fell. Anyway, Zach asks, is Energia almost exclusively focused inward while magic and witch activities more outward? No, not necessarily.
Usually, though.
Usually, but not necessarily.
That does tend to be the distinction, though, that a lot of... It's kind of like a generalization, but it's not always applicable.
Mm-hmm.
But when you consider what is considered more taboo, it's definitely things that... Magic is more sanctioned if it only affects you.
Mm-hmm.
So things like Olga's strength is a lot more easily sanctioned than the twins' abilities that lets them read people's thoughts. That's considered like a highly invasive, very dangerous magic, and it can be used that way. Healing abilities,
Sanctioned.
I think the thing with healing abilities is that they often come with the flip side of being able to hurt people really easily.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they may be sanctioned, but they have to be warded a certain way to be allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that any cities look kindly on people who can practice healing magic without the proper like documentation and wording and everything to make sure they're not also hurting people. Because look at Catherine, you know,
exactly.
She could throw it to anyone.
Yeah, they don't know. Like again, Catherine hasn't pursued her magic because it does cost so much to her, and up until recently, she didn't. It's not even like she did not know she could do that. She didn't know she could get rid of it. Someone said something interesting in the chat. They said, Zach said, Zora isn't a mage, yet she should have the reputation and prowess of one. Zora isn't a mage because she doesn't
live in a city.
Not only that, but Zora is so strong. So strong. Like, she has an ability that's one of those that even if she did allow herself to be licensed and warded, it would probably really hurt her to go about like that. Trying to stifle such an enormous part of yourself. It's a lot like Clementine. Like, when Mother Abraham was threatening to ward Clementine, that comes with a really hefty price tag. Magic that strong, trying to keep it bottled up, it's not really good for the the person who possesses it.
Look at Marguerite.
Yeah.
Well, except she didn't even have like extreme magic she was bottling up. It was just all of her energy. It was being
trauma and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. But Zora isn't a mage. But even though she has some of the most extremely powerful magic in the story, she's often seen as quite a positive figure, even by people like Abraham, simply because she obeys one particular rule that keeps her off most people's shit lists, in that she doesn't try to stay in one place. She knows she's dangerous. She wanders around helping people and then gets gone. Like, she gets herself gone, as Jackson would say. Anytime she's tried to stay anywhere, it's been terrible. Like, Zach asked, does she not want to live in a city? I think she would probably enjoy being able to stay in one place, especially after she has Jackson. But she'd be way too worried all the time about hurting people. And
I don't think she really minds traveling. It's more like she wishes the people she cared about could come with her, and sometimes I think they can't.
Yeah, like, even though she travels with her caravan, just even staying in their proximity as often as she would like isn't possible because she draws so many shards. And she's able to handle them on her own. I mean, you know, when you can just drag down a lightning bolt any old time, you yourself are not in much real danger. But
well, there is the thing to consider. You can't just go around killing shards everywhere because everything gets poisoned. So I think she actually would prefer to outrun them than to just leave this trail of devastation, because they make everything toxic when they die. But the thing that Zora can do, which very few other witches can do, she doesn't really... Well, I think she still does use words, probably, but she can make rain, and shards won't travel in the rain.
At least not unless they're really desperate.
Yeah, so she can make kind of a force field around herself.
She's also in something that maybe one day will end up as a missing moment. It's just alive right for now, but she's teaching Jackson how to make snow and how to draw snow to a certain place, and snow also hinders and muffles shards because it's wet. Oh, thank you, Budgie. Budgie pledged $10.
Oh, thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Looking forward to writing your postcard.
Just you wait. But yeah, if we could mail this from Or if we could get this made tomorrow, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zeke. It's not like a dying thing. Oh, did you want... Well, you're almost done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was going to say, you might want to stop it to start a new video.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Good questions, y'all. Good questions. Are there any more? Oh. Zach says, other people ask questions and talk to Ash and Yamino. It's sounding like the Zach Ask Questions hour or Zach Ask Questions show. We don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine.
Proxy asks, I'm wondering if there is some kind of mythology linking witch queens and giant trees, because the witch queen in The Last Witch Hunter also lived in a giant tree. I don't know. I think people just like giant trees and magic. Like,
I do think that there's definitely always been kind of a association with witches and plants and like potions and, you know, making things in the forest. I don't think Clementine is probably even the first witch who has antlers, but I didn't base her on a antlered character, but I'm sure that other people have had the thought.
Oh, Riggy asked a really good question. In terms of nun terminology, why is she Mother Abraham instead of Mother Abigail, while Yolanda is Mother Yolanda?
Yolanda has one name like Madonna.
That might not even be true, but let's just, for now...
Yolanda's last name is too hard to pronounce by human mouths.
Fine. Fine. Right now, let's just chalk it up to personal preference.
I like mine.
I'm fine with yours, though.
I just want everyone to know my idea would work too.
Jesus. Jamie, I don't know if I have seen your picture of Henny. I certainly don't remember it, and you'd think I would because I love Henny.
Was it a recent one?
Jamie says he did it based off the last stream. Please link us to it. I'd like to see it.
Oh, I think I might have seen it. I think I know what he's talking about.
I may have seen it and I've just completely and utterly forgotten, in which case I am sorry. But then again, I might not have seen it at all. Paulina asks, why is Oscar in the Royal Guard if she's supposed to be the heir? That seems like a job where you are at a higher risk of being killed. You're right, it is a job that has its own set of risks. Oscar was not, and still has not canonically been, as far as you know, named the heir of Throne of Mare. She has only recently been, like, recognized in public by the king as his child. Like, anyone who looks at her knows, at least in the Guard, anyone who has ever seen the king in person need only look at Oscar, like, out of the corner of their eye to know that she's his child.
She probably gets mistaken for him sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the corner of their eyes, speaking of.
Yeah, but it was only when Clementine came to visit that King Michel said anything in public about, like, actively acknowledging Oscar as his child. He hasn't named her the heir. Oscar has been chosen as the successor of Captain Josephine, like, to inherit the Royal Guard, and in the future captain it. But there's interesting things coming up.
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Oh, yes, I do remember this.
I have not seen this picture of Henny, Jamie, and I find it amazing. I am so on board with this.
This should be a not safe for work live stream just because of this boob window.
Yeah. E says, I also have question with the continuity from Missing Moments, where to me most don't add up to what's going on in the comic series in general. Really?
Please ask away.
There are some things that might not completely line up yet because you haven't seen the bridge between what's currently happening in the Missing Moments and what's happening in the comic. But, you know, we're getting there.
Something that a lot of people have not gotten to see the reasoning for yet is why some characters act differently, if that's what you're wondering about. It's something that's been brought up a lot, and it will be addressed.
It will. We want to, like, it's hard for us to say we'll get to it soon because we're trying to have the Missing Moments kind of unfold with the comic pages. Like, we kind of want what's going on in the comic to have something to do with what's going on in the Missing Moments. So there's not a huge disconnect. Oh, Eggplant asks, weird question, but what is Catherine's favorite color? What would you say, Ellen?
I know what color I associate with her, but that's not necessarily her favorite color. I think Catherine's the kind of person, because she's an artist like me, I don't think that she has one color in particular that's her favorite, but I think there's certain color combinations that she really likes. I think she likes muted, kind of elegant colors, she would consider. Like, I think she likes metallics with more subdued, darker colors like forest green. I think she likes greens. I think green is probably her favorite, if she had to pick one.
I've always thought green as well. I think if she had to pick a bright color, she would go with yellow.
Yellow's a color she likes to wear.
Yeah, like, she feels like yellow is flattering, and she is correct.
I think she also likes a lot of pastels.
Oh, Zach is right. Zach said she'd choose colors that remind her of Oscar. That's true. Oh, in terms of the continuity between the Missing Moments and the comic too, like Elena said, yeah, there are some characters who act a little different in the comic than they do in the Missing Moments. And I said this earlier in the live stream, and I'll say it again. I am not the same person now that I was when I was 15. You know? The versions of characters that you see in the Missing Moments, I mean, people do change. Even people like Jackson and Olga. Fear can do a lot to change people. Prejudice, restrictions, the deaths of loved ones, war, that's a really big one, trauma. And then when you got magic flying around everywhere, it's like, well, shit. Space Budgie said, I am not the same person I am when I was 15. Example, thought I was straight. Same.
I didn't think I was straight at
Well,
15.
Yeah, I'm gonna say at 15. No. Maybe when I was 10.
I think when I was 15, I was playing with the idea that maybe I'm bi, but that was a very fleeting.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever identified as straight. I guess I think I would more say that I didn't think there were more options. And so I envisioned myself a spinster for the rest of my life.
Oh,
living with cats.
Well, you do.
I do. I don't even like cats that much. I mean, I think...
Shh, they're listening.
I love you guys. They are not listening. Those badasses are both asleep. God.
Winkle's gonna have nightmares now.
Sean asks, has anyone in Ferna Mare explored beneath the city, beneath the sewer and tunnel system? Yes.
Isn't it just like water and sand?
No, not entirely, but like there is a tunnel system under the city. But yeah. Zach says, the baby shards were down there, weren't they? They were definitely under the palace, yes, but I don't know if they would qualify as having been under the city. Simply because the city, okay. So something about Throne of Mire that you have to remember is that it goes up really, really, really high. The castle is located in the high city, and anything that was under the palace may have been like at level with someone else's front door. So, like it wasn't down beneath the bowels of the city. It wasn't terribly far down. This is such a cute picture.
Thank you.
Aww.
Zeke's sleeping.
Yes, and he's being incredibly cute. Very good questions, everyone. Very good questions.
I'm getting hungry, but I don't want more pizza.
Zach asked, where can a shard spawn? Pretty much anywhere if a place has not been appropriately warded. Even in water.
That's pretty rare, though.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last long, usually, if it did.
No, it wouldn't.
So it would basically just become this poisoned spot in the water.
Yeah.
It would melt.
Although, a shard that forms in water is usually a siren.
Well, those aren't really shards. They're kind of in their own category. They're similar to shards, but...
They are. There are horrors in the deeps, though, in the sea, that would qualify as, like, maritime shards.
Yeah.
But humans see them so seldom, because, I mean, those things would be going after things that live in the water. Zach is essentially asking if if a shard could spawn under the city. Yes. Yes, one could. It would really need a reason. Zach is asking, did Thronen Mater fall from within the death of someone revered by the city? That is a good question, and I can't answer it. Spoilers. Polina asks, can Selkies have magic? They do have magic if you're asking, like, aside from the whole, like...
Magical pelt that heals them and other people thing.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's kind of god moding, isn't it? Maybe rarely.
Okay. Can Selkies have magic? Aside from the shape-shifting? They can learn to do magic that might not necessarily involve their own energia. Like spells and things to alter something that's already in progress. Like, for example, Gabby is essentially going to school with Clementine right now. Okay? And Gabby, just by virtue of being there and learning what Clementine is learning, if there was a spell already in motion, Gabby knows enough at this point to be able to stop it without having to use her own magic. Gabby could learn things like how Nib learns them, for instance, like words that make things happen just because the word itself is powerful. Gabby could know how to assemble ingredients and activate them and stuff. Things that might cause a magical reaction without having to input any of her own energia. Things like that, yes. Selkies can do magic that way.
Well, the thing is, in order for the magic to be charged without her energia, it would have to be charged with someone else's.
That's why I said, like, a spell already
For example, with a horn.
Uh-huh.
A horn that had been charged with an extreme amount of magic, like a battery.
Like, there are plenty of objects that already have energia in them. I hate to say it, but, like, Gabby could easily do magic borrowing energia from something else.
Like a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, too, about Selkies and magic, that Selkies themselves, while not being able to enact any magic outside their transformative ability with their own energia, beings with Selkie blood can do magic. Eggplant says, headcanon. People in Throne and Mare tell their children to stay away from the water because if they drowned, they could become a shard and die. Well, that's pretty extreme, but... And it is a port town. I mean, children probably go in the water all the time. It's really, like, it's quite dangerous to go in the water, except in sanctioned areas, though, simply because of all the quicksand. and the tides around Fernan Mare are extraordinarily volatile. So
They probably do have. They do tell their children though not to go answer when the seafaring people call them. You know,
yeah,
if selkies or other magical marine creatures beckon, don't follow them.
I don't think parents would warn their children negatively against selkies. Selkies are generally pretty like friendly and everything. They are one of the few magical creatures that don't try to actively hurt humans.
Why are they friendly?
They're friendly in that, well, mostly they stay away from humans, or they do have alliances with some kinds of humans, but
Doesn't it stand to reason, though, especially in a port town, that if a selkie is approaching you, it's probably not for a good reason? Because why would they approach unless they wanted something?
well, that's the thing. If they want something, they're probably desperate and willing to give you quite a lot for it.
I don't know, because I'm thinking, like, imagine this is a selkie who either had their pelt stolen or somebody they know did and they're trying to recover it. What if they just kidnapped a kid and held it ransom until the pelt got brought back, you know, something like that?
Selkies are a culture in general that would never do that. Like, I really don't see them doing something like that.
But they kicked Gabby out.
They kicked Gabby out, but that doesn't mean they'd go and kidnap a human child.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's really not.
Kicking a kid out on the street.
Kicking a kid out because they're risking their entire pod's safety, like in their perception, that's not the same as, hi, let's go kidnap this kid and also potentially bring down, like, it's never...
I don't imagine they would be torturing the kid, just, you know, keeping them and being like, hey, bring back my pelt or else this kid becomes a selkie and lives with us under the ocean.
It doesn't really work that way. I'm sure there are some selkies that have hurt humans in the past. Yeah, Paulina Castle said there's...
Also, like, a culture does not necessarily have to do a really negative thing for people to be scared of the unknown.
Yeah. I mean, again, I do think people in Throne of Mare would warn their children against maritime creatures in the first place. The same way, like, you know, someone might tell a child who lives on the edge of the woods, if you see anything really strange in there, leave it the hell alone.
But I'm also saying, like, this is a culture that profits from stealing selkie pelts and using selkies essentially for parts or for magical properties. Why would they encourage their kids to be friends with selkies when they know that they're also benefiting from using their body parts for stuff?
I'm not saying, like, selkies don't make enough of a habit of talking to people that parents would encourage their children to go make friends with them. What I'm saying is, I don't think parents would warn their children, these creatures are ultra dangerous. You need to watch out for the talking seals. Like,
I don't think they'd say they're dangerous, but I think they would tell them to not interact with them.
I think they would tell them just in general, leave things that come out of the water and talk alone. Like, you know, but I don't think they would specifically order their children to stay away from the seal people.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just like kind of a general leave the maritime creatures alone. And Throne of Mare as a whole does not support the harvesting of selkie pelts. There is an illegal trade done in it. There are some people who sell pelts in general, and seal pelts, not necessarily selkie pelts, but like Oscar has seen selkie pelts for sale before, and it's something that is really not allowed. But again, selkies are rare enough and their pelts valuable enough that it's one of the reasons Mama was so intent on getting Gabby back to the water early in the missing moment where Gabby was introduced, where, you know, Catherine gets pulled out of the water. Where she says, you should come back and visit us when it's not a fishing day. When, like, most of the fishing people were getting ready to leave the docks to go fish.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't do that every day because of the tides. But this was a designated fishing day, and Maman knows that even though harvesting Selkie pelts is not allowed technically in Throne of Mata and carries a hefty fine, the price a Selkie pelt can fetch is so high that even some of the best people might be tempted. So she's like, get the very valuable child out of here! Sean is asking if I ever said that Throne of Mare was built on top of a dormant volcano. I have never said that.
It's a theory that people have flung around because of the black sand.
Yeah. And I'm going to sit here and tell you that the sand could be black for another reason. Sorry, that was a lot of blathering about Selkies. I really like Selkies.
Me too.
In terms of Selkies too, like Gabby's pod in general, like some pods are a lot more apt to trust humans than others. Gabby's pod is one that doesn't take that many chances.
They may have already lost people to
and I mean,
the Selkie pelt trade.
Gabby's pod is a big pod. It's very, they move around a lot. They are hundreds strong. Like there are hundreds of Selkies in Gabby's pod. So they have a heck of a lot to lose if this one pup that won't follow rules keeps putting them at risk. Proxy asks, historically, witches have been blamed for plagues and sickness. Is there such a thing as a plague witch in the world of Sister Claire? I don't know. That is a good thought.
I mean, I've always thought that witches are tied to plagues and the land being poisoned. I mean, we have Rosalie say as much in the missing moment where Claire gets bullied for having red hair and looking like the bright one or the horned one. Because where witches go, shards follow, and when shards are killed, whether through magic or anything else, they cause all kinds of sickness and often death and toxicity. It's similar to radioactivity, and it lingers for years. It's very hard to clean. And so, yeah, witches are kind of associated with that sort of thing, but we haven't made any plans for a witch who's specifically like the plague witch who brings, unlike spider and mouse, actual like illness everywhere. I imagine that somebody like that would just die pretty much when they're born because they would get sick themselves.
Yeah, like
what a lonely life if they didn't.
It's an interesting concept.
Can you tell what Momo's favorite color is?
I think I might be able to guess. Space Budgie asks, has Gabby ever seen a member of her pod after her transformation, maybe at that underwater bar? Entirely possible.
I don't think she would have introduced herself.
No, probably not.
I think she prefers that they don't know who she is. Because the only thing worse than her being dead is her being a siren.
Yeah.
I really don't think they want to know.
Gabby in general, I wrote a live write about this once. It was a very short one about Sal encouraging Gabby. Like, Gabby doesn't really have many options for social interaction in her current form, like her blue form. Um, she can't really go visit Oscar and Catherine terribly often because they're living in secrecy, and she can't stay out of the water very long. When she leaves her grotto for long periods, um, she starts losing herself, and yikes. But Sal, as a member of her pod, can keep her grounded, and that means she can visit him. There was a live write where I had him encouraging her to sing in front of like crowds because she really likes singing. And it does have kind of the mesmer effect on crowds, as you canonically see in the comic. But he tells her something. I don't remember exactly what I had him say, but he's essentially like, they came here to get kind of messed up, so just go out there and go out there and have fun, honey.
Go out there and mess them up.
But I think Gabby would be quite reluctant to talk to other Selkies for fear that they would realize what she is. She's very unique in that she doesn't look entirely like a siren.
They wouldn't really know what to make of her. I think that no matter what, though, her appearance is kind of off-putting and scary to people. If not necessarily off-putting, but like she does not look like a siren because she's not entirely a siren. She's like in this frozen, half dead, half alive state where she's in between Selkie and siren. And I think that Selkies in particular would feel some kind of, you feel familiar, but they wouldn't think she was a Selkie. They'd be like, you seem nice, but also kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not immediately recognizable as a Selkie. She's not recognizable as a siren. She doesn't look like a mer person. She doesn't look human. She's just really weird.
But thanks to her siren mesmer, she can kind of get people to react to her how she wants.
Yeah.
If she really needs somebody to like her or do something for her, she can use that to her advantage. If she wants them to be scared of her, she can do that too.
Zach asks, why can't Gabby contact Mummel right now? Does she not want to? Do you mean in the current comic timeline? That's a good question, Zach. Like, first, you're assuming that you're assuming that Mummel is around for Gabby to contact. I have told you that, like, I have made one promise about Sister Claire, and I promise I will keep said promise, that Mummel does not die. That I won't kill her. I can only tell you that Gabby can't talk to her.
I'm going to add decorations to the cookies later. They're not going to stay this plain. What's the chat saying, dear? Any more questions?
I'm reading one. Hang on. Paulina Castle is asking, if Catherine could go back and stop Clementine's death, would she? Paulina says, I debate this frequently because Claire is basically her daughter, and her existence depends on Clementine's death, but Clementine was one of the most important people in Catherine's life. Would Catherine stop Clementine's death if she could go back in time?
It's an interesting question because I think it would be very hard for her to choose between Claire and Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
She sometimes sees them as kind of the same person, even though she knows that's not right.
Yeah. I guess you have to wonder about it. Like, Paulina, I will invite you to ask this question of yourself again when you see all of the events surrounding Clementine's death. What it would mean had she lived, theoretically. The thing is, you also have to wonder, like, at what point is Catherine allowed to make this decision? Like, is she offered this choice when Claire is still young, like under 5? Is she offered this choice now that Claire looks as though she's going to follow in Clementine's footsteps, at least with the horns? You know,
and the shard purifying and everything.
Yeah, like, you gotta wonder. Oh, Space Budgie said, a Clementine gingerbread man with pretzel sticks as her horns.
Oh,
that would be really cute.
I would love that.
I love how my mom looks here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put some gray streaks in her hair?
I mean, her hair's all gray already, but
yeah.
I can try. I don't usually do streaks in this style because it would involve me having to...
Okay, that's fine then.
Might be kind of hard.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Excellent questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look who's here. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Hi. Zach said, all right, the girlfriend is home and I must attend her.
Aww.
Aw. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for coming and asking such good questions.
Yeah, they're really good.
Ryan asks, did you get a new computer? I seem to remember a Windows machine last time I was able to make it to a stream.
Oh no, I haven't used Windows since college, which was like 2009. Actually, even since then I had switched already to a Mac, so I haven't used Windows since around 2007-ish. You might be remembering someone else's live stream.
I have to use Windows machines at work every day.
I'm so sorry.
Me too.
I mean, I've used them for a long time. I think they're fine depending on what you're doing, but I have always preferred the art programs on Macs. I'd prefer it even more if my tablet wasn't glitching out right now.
It's really nice to see you too, Ryan. Oh, you forgot the color in Catherine Dear, maybe it's red.
Oh, oops.
Thank you, Clever Pepper. Oh, Arwen Trow says, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but I was accepted to a college.
Yay!
Congratulations! That's amazing.
That is really great.
Omedetou.
I'm getting sleepy-ish.
I like the little alpaca-looking deer.
Yeah. Almost done, dear.
Ryan said, "Everyone knows Orion." And Jamie said, "I don't." Ryan replied, "Shh."
You do now, right?
Hmm. Space Budgie says that this is them about this picture.
Oh.
I watched a couple episodes of Parks and Rec with Elena and my friend Ryan over the Thanksgiving holidays, and it looks like a show that I would really like.
I've tried watching it with you before, and you didn't like it, but...
Did I not? Maybe I didn't see the right episodes or something.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time liking shows like that, usually. Ones that, like, have some really nice, sincere messages, but for the most part, the characters act in such a way that would not fly in reality.
Well, it is not meant to be a documentary on reality.
Well, most things aren't, Elena. But I mean, sort of like, I know so many people really like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I've seen several episodes of it, and I think it's funny. But the moment I start trying to think of it in this, like, the moment I start trying to relate it to the real world, everything falls apart. Because, like, police officers are not actually nice. And, yeah. But I did like the episodes of Parks and Rec that I saw when we were with Ryan. They were good. They uncomfortably reminded me
of the election, yeah.
Yeah, which, bless them. Oh, it's such a cute sweater.
I feel like I should have given Gabby a hat, but it's okay.
Riggy says, "I am deep in the Yuri on Ice hole right now. I've heard that that is really good."
Yeah, a lot of people I know like it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that it isn't queerbaity, which would be a huge step forward for anime in general.
For yaoi in general.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it was about girls.
I've heard someone reblogged something on Tumblr not long ago about there being, like, Yuri on Ice is getting a ton of attention right now, but there's also a show with, like, female protagonists in a relationship. And I would like to check that out, but I can't remember which one it is. Oh, Jamie says it's called Izetta, the Last Witch. Witches, you say?
Oh, is that the one that's about like witches in World War II or something?
I don't know. I'll check it out.
It sounds familiar. I think I saw a Tumblr post about it.
Shumatsu no Izetta. Ooh, sorry. This is a really cute picture.
Thank you.
Are you going to put any shine on Mama's lips?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions, y'all? I only ask because I'm so tired.
Fading fast.
Yeah.
It's too late now. I gotta finish it. There's no point doing another live draw just to color like a tiny bit.
Jamie wants to know, will we see more of the people left back at Mercy? Maybe eventually. Polina very kindly said, I don't think anyone would mind if you guys need to go to bed. We do need to go to bed, but we think, especially Elena, think once this done. And y'all have waited a long time for it. We're really happy to be able to get some time with y'all. Good night, Eggplant. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Hey, David, we're still streaming. You go to bed now? Not yet. Okay.
You smell like Fritos. He's under the blanket.
Aw.
He really does, though.
The rest of the time he smells like corpses.
Not the worst. I mean, the Fritos.
Paulina Castle just asked a really good question. What is Grimm up to since Clementine is with Abraham? You know? Grimm is probably back in Throne Mare,
Sulking.
but also chilling with Catherine and Mumble, and probably also Queen Sylvia. At this point in the story, Grimm is especially fond of Catherine. As you can see, that changes too.
I think she's just shifting around.
Yeah, she's just rolling. Trying to get comfy. That's actually, Paulina, thank you for reminding me of Grimm. That's a really, Oh, huh.
That's just how she rolls, Ash.
That was pretty pale.
Mm-hmm. off of it. You see it?
Space Budgie says it kind of looks like Oscar's taking a peek down Mummy's shirt.
I know. I had thought about that earlier.
Oops. Everyone knows she's not. Well.
The best.
Well, you sure did?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Thank you. You okay?
Space Budgie asks, does Mama have a mommy kink? Would she indulge in someone who did have one? I'm sure she would.
Not her children, but like anybody
yeah,
else.
not her kids, but yeah, anybody else. I mean, that's not a kink, they're her kids, so...
I am sure that Momo is very into, like, well, I don't want to say she's into, but I think she is happy to accommodate, you know, whatever people want.
I think she'd be perfectly happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she is called Mama for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think, but as for whether that's her kink, I don't think so.
Mm.
I think it's more like something she has probably done for other people.
Do these cookies have gumdrop eyes?
Maybe.
I've never, ever liked gumdrops.
Me either.
They, to me, are just like the grossest candy.
The only reason anybody uses gumdrops is because they make good decoration for stuff.
jerk. Ugh.
Keep in mind that my mom made these, so that's why they're not very beautiful. Are there any questions or anything in the chat?
Oh, Ricky asks, "Hey Yamino, how long did you plan Sister Claire before you started drawing it for real?"
Well, I used it as a project in college for multiple classes, and it went through a lot of evolutions before I finally started posting it. And even then, I did I drew the beginning of the comic maybe 3 times before you see what is on the site, and even that has been redrawn since book 1 came out. But I originally started to think about the comic around 2008 when I started. Well, no, it was closer to, yeah, I think I would say early 2008. So maybe it was a year before I started actually drawing pages for it and posting them online. Give or take. I think I had been actually working on it before 2008, but it just was not very solidified. It was very different. I'm almost done. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Aw, Jamie called you yams. That's cute.
It is cute.
Don't forget Oscar Sparkles. Aw, Space Budgie says about the picture, "It looks amazing. It's very well competing with the beach print for my favorite Sister Claire art."
Aw, thank you. It's fun.
People on Tumblr are so silly. Someone sent me a post that says, "My mom at 25, married with 1 kid. Me at 25, wakes up holding a chicken tender after a night of drinking." It's like, What's she like? I think the kids are so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Oscar's sweater, and I want to own it.
Well, I based it on one I saw. So technically you could own it.
I can hear the cats cavorting in the living room behind us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it's pretty much finito. Let me just put a couple more.
Oscar's fine.
Yeah. Ooh, that's some bright orange. Okay, I think it's done. Let me see.
Yes.
Yay, I'll sign it.
I wish you'd put rainbow bulbs in the wreaths behind them, but
I
that
mean,
would take too long.
No, I still can do that. Let me see.
That seems very appropriate, don't you think?
When you say rainbow bulbs, do you mean like the colors are rainbowy? Or like ones that are entirely rainbow?
Like, I mean, rainbow lights, like rainbow Christmas lights. You know what I mean? You can try it, and if it looks too tacky, take it away.
I think I'd rather not. I think it kind of takes away from the setting. Like,
Okay,
I don't think they would have those.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna sign it.
Okay.
Can I say something? Yay.
Your Y looks like a G.
I know. People often think that.
You didn't want to put any shine on her boobs.
I did put a little bit. It's subtle though. I don't really want to make them like. She's not all lubed up right now, you know what I mean? It's not going to be glistening or anything. She's probably put her nice, like, jasmine powder on. She's not oily or anything. She's not a slip and slide, Ash. I'm glad you like that. It's getting late over here.
Jesus. Alright. Oh,
This is a family moment, okay?
fine.
On that note, everyone, thank you so much for coming. Me and Ash are gonna pass out now.
You have got hair all up in your mouth, and we're supposed to sing goodbye.
I know. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Shall we? Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.